Good evening, everyone. So today we'll be discussing about the gross anatomy and the histology of the pancreas. So if you remember the pancreas is one of the very important structure that is present in our body. Yes, it is this one. This structure is a mixed gland. It contains both endocrine as well as the exocrine part. So exocrine part basically it contains the duct system, basically that is made up of the serous gland or serous acini. And if you see the endocrine part of the pancreas, it basically contains the islets of Langerhans, whose main function is to release the hormones such as insulin, somatostatin, and glucagon. So these three hormones they are very important hormones that are released from the pancreatic islets of Langerhans. And if you see the shape of the pancreas, it looks somewhat like a retort or J-shaped structure which is mainly made up of the flesh. Okay, so all the part of the pancreas they are generally made up of the fleshy structure, which is soft, lobulated, and elongated structure that is present in our body. Okay, so this part and the main other functions of this pancreas is to secrete the pancreatic juices, and I have already discussed about the hormones mm, that are released from the pancreas. Okay, so let's move ahead into the other structures or the other length, breadth, thickness, and the weight of the pancreas. If you see the pancreas, it is almost 90 gram, and the length, breadth, and thickness is 15 to 20 centimeter, 2.5 to 3.8 centimeter, and 1.2 to 1.8 centimeter respectively. Now, if you want to study about the location of the pancreas, generally the pancreas it is located here in the C-shaped curved part of the duodenum. Okay, and it is mainly located here in the epigastrium region and here in the left hypochondrium region. Though if you see here in this photograph, it is generally located. You see here that is located in the umbilical region, but the pancreas it is located here in the epigastrium and left hypochondrium region. Okay, and if you see the uh, location mainly, it is mainly located at the level of L1 and L2 transversally in the posterior abdominal wall. Now, if you move ahead into the pancreas it is basically divided into three parts, not three part, four part. So these are this one is the head, neck, body, and tail of the pancreas. Okay, and the head also consists one of the process. This process is called as the uncinate process of the pancreas. Now, I think you know more about this photograph. We have also discussed this photograph before as well when we discussed about the duodenum. Yes, so if you see here in the C-sub part of this duodenum, you will see the pancreas. Okay, and if you see this one is the head of the pancreas. Here in the head of the pancreas, if you see here, you can find the uncinate process. This one is the neck, body, and this part, the part that is reaching towards the spleen. This part is called as the tail of the pancreas, and this pancreas it is located at the level of L1 to L2. Now, if you see the head of the pancreas, this part is present here in the curve of the duodenum. Okay, curve of the duodenum and neck. So, if there is a head, there should be the neck. So, neck must be the a small part or a narrow pad that is generally located just in front of this portal vein. Okay, so just in front of the formation of this portal vein, this region will be the neck of the pancreas. And after that, if you move ahead or if you move more towards the left side, the neck continues downward as a this part as a body. So this body is present just in front of the aorta. So this whole part is the aorta. Yes, so just in front of the ear you can see here as well. So just in front of the aorta, here you will find the body, and if you see in the cross section of the pancreas, so you will find the cross section of the pancreas as a triangular part section of it. So it looks somewhat triangular when you see in the cross section. Though if you see here in the 2D structure, you only see the anterior surface or the posterior surface, but it is triangular in structure. And this structure it or the body of this pancreas it continues towards the left side and it will reaches to the spleen, and this part that is reaching towards the spleen we call it as a tail. And if you see here in the spleen, you will find the one ligament that is actually coming from the spleen to the renal or renal to the spleen. So this ligament is called as, here you will find the ligament, that ligament is called as renal ligament. Okay, so in between the two layers of renal ligament, you will find the tail of the pancreas. So it's quite difficult to demarcate the junction between the head and neck, or neck and body, body and tail. So we'll identify those structures, how to demarcate the junctions. Okay, so if you see here in this region, so you know that this region is a head region. Okay, so just in front, somewhere here in this region, you will find the groove of the gastroduodenal artery. Those arteries that are actually supplying to the duodenum. So superior, first part, second part, third part, and fourth part. So somewhere here in this region, you will find the gastroduodenal artery. So there are the superior gastroduodenal artery, and inferior gastroduodenal artery. Those arteries. Okay, so they are here in this region. So they are actually demarcating the head and the neck region. Okay, and behind, if you see behind, you can find the portal vein. So this one is the right margin of the portal vein. This one is the left margin of the portal vein. So behind, up to this right margin of the portal vein. So this whole area is considered to be as a uh, head of the pancreas. So now after that, if you move ahead, so head and neck and the body, it is demarcated by the, again, in front it is no any such structures that you can demarcate easily um, between the neck and body. But if you see from the posterior part or from the behind, so from the left margin, so from here, somewhere here from this region, uh, so right from here from this region, so you will identify the this part. Okay, so this whole structure will be the body of the pancreas. So this part will be the neck, and other this whole part will be the body of the pancreas. Okay, and so to demarcate between the body and tail. Okay, so in front it is quite, it's, so that is not, we cannot distinguish any, because there is no any structures that are present here in this region, so it's quite difficult to identify or demarcate the structure. But if you see from the behind, there will be the peritoneal area and non-peritoneal areas that are present here in this region. So from that we can demarcate. So this structure has a body, and this structure has a tail. So now let's move on to the head of the pancreas. Yes, so if you see the head of the pancreas, so this whole part is the head of the pancreas. Yes, so if you see here, this one is the enlarged and flattened part that is generally present in the right side. We know that this one is the right kidney and this one is the spleen. So we can easily identify this one is the right side and this one is the left side. Okay, so this whole part we can say this one is the head of the pancreas, and this one is the enlarged flattened right end that is generally situated here in the curve of the duodenum. Now again, if you see the external features of this part, so whatever you see here, right from here, this one is a which surface? This one is the anterior surface, and just behind it, you will find the posterior surface. Yes, so this one is the anterior surface, and this one is the posterior surface. Posterior surface. Now, if you see the border of the pancreas, okay, if you see it, this whole part, if you see this region, so this region is the superior border of the pancreas. This one is a right lateral border. Yes, right lateral border. And if you see this one, this lower part, this one is a inferior border. So superior border, inferior border, and right lateral border. So there are a three border and two surface. Whatever you see here, this one is the anterior surface, and just behind it you will find the posterior surface. And this head contains one of the very important structure. That structure is called as uncinate process. Okay, so this part, this elongated part, we call it as a head of uncinate process of the pancreas. Now, if we move more ahead, okay, in the relation of the uh, head of the pancreas that are present in the superior part. So if you see here, so this this is generally overlapped by the first part of the duodenum. So duodenum, this overlaps the head of the pancreas or superior border of the pancreas. Okay, and here you will also find the arteries that are actually supplying the duodenum. So that one is the superior pancreaticoduodenal arteries. Okay, so this part. And in the inferior border, if you see here, so this whole region is the inferior border. So here, this is this inferior border is present just above the third part of the duodenum, and here again you will find the one of the very important artery, important artery that is actually supplying the duodenum, yes, the inferior part of the duodenum, and that one is the inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery. And if you see in the right lateral part, this part, yes, so this right lateral part, it is related to the second part of the duodenum, and if you see, yes, in the second part of the duodenum, there will be the opening of this bile duct. Yes, the terminal part that is opening in the major duodenal papillae in the bile duct, and again you will also find the anastomosis of the two arteries, that is superior pancreaticoduodenal arteries that is supplying the upper part, and the inferior pancreaticoduodenal arteries that is supplying the lower part of the duodenum. And if you see the other relations, the relations of the head and the uh, head, so there are the two surfaces. So if you see here in this photograph, so this one is the photograph that you are viewing from the anterior surface. So if you see here, you will find the first part of the duodenum, transverse colon, and as well as the jejunum, what you will find in the anterior surface. These are the three relations that are related to the anterior surface. Whereas if you see from the posterior part or from the posterior surface, the relations that are associated with the posterior surface, they are the inferior vena cava. If you see here the bile duct, that is also present here in the posterior relation of this head of the pancreas. Okay, in the posterior surface of the head of the pancreas. Besides that, you can also see the right and left terminal veins that are entering here into the inferior vena cava, and you can sometimes find the right cross of the diaphragm as always. Okay, and the main important process that is present here in the pancreas, that one is the uncinate process, and in the uncinate process you will find the superior mesenteric vessels, okay, anteriorly, and if you see behind, you will find the aorta. Okay, now if we move on to the relation or the neck of the pancreas, okay, so this one is a slightly constricted part, yes, slightly constricted part, and it is directed upward. And if you see it, so it is directed upward, forward, upward, and towards the left side. Okay, so it is directed forward, upward, and to the left side, and it has also two surfaces. Whatever you see here in this region, yes, whatever you see here in this region, so this will be the anterior surface, and just behind it, that will be the posterior surface. And if you see the relations that are present in the anterior surface, you will find the mainly you will find the pylorus, and those pylorus, they are covered by the peritoneum of the posterior peritoneum as well as the lesser sacs. Okay, so both are the peritoneum. And in the posterior relation, what you will find the portal vein here, and the splenic vein and superior mesenteric vein, they are draining into the portal vein. So you will find these relations in behind. Okay, so in the posterior surface. Now if you see the body of the pancreas, it is quite elongated structure. Yes, so that is present in between the neck and tail. Okay, so this is a bit larger part and one of the most complex part of the pancreas. Okay, and it is directed slightly backward. Okay, it is directed slightly backward, and there is an inclination towards the tail, or towards the left side. So slightly upward and backward. It is slightly upward, but it is moving backside towards the spleen. Okay, the neck, it is moving upward and forward, but the body, that is moving upward but backward side. Okay. Now, if you see the uh, body of the pancreas, okay, if you see here, this one is a 2D structure. It's quite difficult to identify the three surfaces of or three borders that are present here in this photograph. Okay, but if you take a cross section of this structure, body of the pancreas, what you will see, it is somewhat a triangular in shape. It is a triangular in shape that consists of the superior border here. Yes, superior border, and if you see, you will find the inferior border and you will also find the anterior border. So what you will find, you will find the three borders. Okay, so if you see here in this photograph, this part is the superior border and this one is the inferior border. And if you see in this photograph, the color, yellow color structure, so you can identify this one is a dark yellow color and this one is a light yellow color. So in between these superior border and inferior border in the anterior surface, somewhere here in this part, you will find the anterior border. You will find the anterior border. So there are, so this actually creates the triangular shape structure, okay, in cross section. And if you see in between the superior border and anterior border, what you will find? You will find the anterior surface. So this surface is a anterior surface. This one is a anterior surface, and this one is the anterior border. Between the anterior border and inferior border, what you will find? You will find the inferior surface. So just behind it, so this between the superior border and inferior border, just behind it, you will find the posterior surface. And in the superior border, you will find the one of the raised part that is coming from the superior border. We call it as a tuber omental. So this is one of the very important structure to identify the superior border. Now, to understand the relations of the body of the pancreas, okay, so in the superior border, okay, in this region, yes, superior border, so what you will find? So you will find the celiac trunk, and from the celiac trunk there will be the hepatic artery and splenic artery. So they are not shown here in this photograph. Okay, so you will find those two structures here as well. So here they are supplying the spleen, and somewhere here you will find the hepatic artery to the right side. Okay, so they are coming in relation in the superior border. Similarly, if you see in the inferior border, what you will find here in the inferior, so this one is the inferior border. So here you will find the superior mesenteric vessels. Okay, superior mesenteric vessels, they are coming in relation in the inferior border. So somewhere here, what you will find in this region? In this region, you will find the anterior border. Yes. So in the anterior border, so you can see the relation. So that one is a transverse mesocolon that is moving from the right side to the, yes, the right side to the spleen. So from the right flexure, right hepatic flexure to the left left splenic flexure. So here you will find the transverse mesocolon. So again, what are the structures that you see? If you see here, so this one is a now anterior surface. Yes, so this one is a anterior surface just above the anterior border or between the anterior border and superior border. So this between this superior border here, this one is superior border, this one is anterior border. So you will find the anterior surface. So this one is somewhat looks like a concave in shape, and it is directed upward and forward. Okay, it is directed upward and forward. So you can see here, it is directed upward and forward. And this structure, it is mainly related with the lesser sac of the stomach. As you know that the pancreas, they are actually responsible for the formation of the stomach bed as well. So this is one of the very important structure that is forming the stomach bed. So that is mainly related here. Okay, so stomach is related to the anterior surface of the pancreas. Now, if you see the inferior surface, so this part, yes, so inferior surface, this one is the inferior surface. So in the inferior surface, what you will see, it is present in between the anterior border and inferior border, and here you will find the relation of the duodenum jejunal flexure and duodenum jejunal flexure as well as the left colic flexure. Okay, so that flexure is called as splenic flexure. So they are all related in this region. What you will find? You will find the all the coils of duodenum jejunum here in this region. Yes, and as well as the mesocolon you can see here in the anterior border. And here in the inferior surface, you will find the duodenum jejunal flexure, coils of jejunum here, and you will also find the splenic flexure, or we also call it as a left colic flexure. Yes. Now, again, if you see in the posterior surface, so that is just behind it. Yes. So what you will find? So in the posterior surface, yes, in posterior surface, uh, you'll find the here in this region, yes, in the body of the pancreas, because we are not discussing all the part. So this one is the body of the pancreas. So you'll find the aorta. They are devoid of the peritoneum, and you can also see the left cross of the diaphragm. Even if you see here, this one is the left renal vein. Yes, you can see the left kidney as well as the left suprarenal glands. They are coming in relation with the body of the pancreas. Even you can see the drainage or draining of the splenic vein into the IBC. Yes, so you can see it. So that is also splenic vein. It is also coming in relation to the body of the pancreas. Now, if you see the tail of the pancreas, so to understand the tail of the pancreas, it is necessary to understand the spleen as well. So, the spleen, this one is the lymphoid organ, and whatever you see here, this one is the visceral surface of the spleen, and if you see here, this one is the hilum of the spleen. So here you will find a lot of blood vessels. Okay, and if you see here, this area that is mainly related to the renal area, here this one is the gastric area, and this one is the colic area. Okay, so the spleen, uh, uh, in the spleen, if you see, this one is the renal area. Yes, this one is the renal area. So here in the renal area, you will find the one ligament, and this ligament is called as linorenal ligament, or also called as splenorenal ligament. Okay, so the most mobile part of the pancreas, that is the tail of the pancreas, that lies actually here in the two layers of this linorenal ligament, okay, along with the splenic vessel. So here in this region, okay, so you have to be very careful while doing the splenectomy as well. So during splenectomy, the tail of the pancreas, it is related here in the with the spleen. So damage of this tail of the pancreas causes one very important problem. So what was that problem? If you remember, so here the tail of the pancreas basically contains a very large amount of ions of Langerhans. Okay, so here the large number of ions of Langerhans, they are present here in the tail of the pancreas. If you see the per unit of tissue level, at the tissue level, if you see here, you will find the so damage of this part. So that will somehow that will be causing problem in the secretion or the release of the hormones such as insulin, glucagon, and somatostatin. Okay, so you have to be very careful while doing splenectomy. So if we see the duct of the pancreas, okay, so there are the two main pancreatic ducts that are present in the pancreas. So the first duct is this one. This duct is called as main pancreatic duct of Wirsang, and another the small pancreatic duct, or we also call it as accessory pancreatic duct. So this duct is called as uh, duct of minor pancreatic duct or accessory pancreatic duct, or also called as duct of Santorini. Okay, if you see the main pancreatic duct, this is present somewhere present in every part of the pancreas. Okay, and it basically starts right from the tail region. And if you see the pattern, if you see the pattern of this duct, it looks somewhat like the uh, bone of the fish. Okay, so this duct pattern is called as herringbone pattern. And if you see the diameter of such of this duct, it is almost the 3 mm in diameter. Now, and this pancreatic duct, it receives this small uh, duct and creating a pattern. That pattern is a herringbone pattern. Okay, and it opens here in the major duodenal papilla along with the opening of the bile duct. Okay, so this bile duct and main pancreatic duct, they opens here into the hepatopancreatic ampulla of Barton, or we also call it as a major. We call that that opens in the major duodenal papilla that is present in the second part of the duodenum. And if you see the accessory pancreatic duct here, so this is actually draining here the lower part of the head of the pancreas. So especially here in the uncinate process part, okay, uncinate process of the pancreas. So this part, these are drained by the drained or this from this part, the secretion they are drained into the minor duodenal papillae. Okay, and this accessory pancreatic duct is also called as duct of Santorini. And if you see from the pylorus, it is almost 6 to 8 centimeter from the pylorus. Okay, 6 to 8 centimeter from the distal part of the pylorus. So this part is the pylorus continues downward as a first part of the duodenum. So this one is the first part of the duodenum. So the here you will find the pylorus. Okay, and this drains here into the minor duodenum. Now, if you see here, that if you see right here also in this photograph also, okay, so you can see the major main pancreatic duct. So you can identify the main pancreatic duct in this spleen. Okay, and if you see here in this photograph, so this one is a common bile duct, and if you see here, this one is a pancreatic duct of Wilson. So they are joining with each other and opening in the major duodenal papilla, and from this region, yes, this one is the uncinate process of the head of the pancreas. So from this region, you will find the accessory pancreatic duct. So that is draining to the minor duodenal papillae. Okay. Now, if you remember the histology of the pancreas, we know that the pancreas basically contains both endocrine as well as exocrine part. The exocrine part basically contains uh, serous H&E. Yes, so it contains the serous H&E. So serous H&E is nothing. Yes, it, that contains a triangular separate cell. Yes, triangular separate cell. And in the triangular separate cell, you will find the spherical separate nucleus. Yes, and that are present in the near base. Okay, and here there will be the secretion. So they are the zymogen granules. Okay, so they are the watery secretion. So whenever you stain this with the H&E, so they are darkly stained with the darkly stained, and it looks somewhat like a darkly stained with the eosine. Okay, basically, and the release from here there will be the watery secretion. Okay, they are watery secretion in nature. And if you see the other part, the endocrine part, this one is the Isles of Langerin. So the Isles of Langerin, that will be discussed very detailedly when we discuss more about the histology of the pancreas. So if you see here, so you can see identify the Isles of Langerin, yes, and these all the structures, whatever you see, these all the structures are the serous systemic. So these are the exocrine part, and they are also supplied by the blood vessels. And for the exocrine part, that basically contains the duct space. Yes, so you can find the intercalated duct as well as the interlobular duct for the passing of the release, whatever the materials that are released from here. So they are passed from this duct system, and this endocrine part, from the endocrine part, they are directly released into the blood. Okay, so this is a very brief regarding the histology of the pancreas. Okay, so this is the notes that are associated with the function of the pancreas. So basically it releases the digestive enzymes such as trypsin, amylase, lipase, and endocrine hormone, the main three endocrine hormone, insulin, glucagon, and somatostatin. Again, when we discuss uh, the endocrine part of the pancreas when you in the endo, at the time we discuss very detailedly about the this endocrine part or the Isles of Langerin at that time. And if you see the arterial supply of the pancreas, so they are mainly supplied by the splenic artery. Yes, so they are mainly supplied by the splenic artery. Besides that, they are also supplied by the superior pancreatic duodenal as well as inferior pancreatic duodenal arteries. And the drainage system of the for the venous drainage system for the pancreas, so they are mainly drained by the splenic vein. Yes, splenic vein. And beside that, you can see there are the superior pancreatic duodenal vein and inferior pancreatic duodenal vein. So they are draining respectively into the superior mesenteric vein. Yes, superior and inferior mesenteric vein, and they are draining into the finally into the portal vein. Okay, so they are draining this region. So lymphatic drainage. So according to the position, so there you will find the lymphatic nodes or lymph nodules. Okay, so here in this tail region here in between the spleen and pancreas, here somewhere here you will find the pancreatic splenic lymph nodes. So these are all the lymph nodes. Here celiac nodes somewhere here in this region, and superior mesenteric group of lymph nodes somewhere here in this region. You will find the superior mesenteric of lymph nodes for the drainage of the lymphatics. Now for the nerve supply. So nerve supply generally they are uh, parasympathetic, they are supplied by the vagus, and sympathetic from the splenic nerve. Okay, thank you so much. So this was the first time. Uh, I don't know what I have done today, but thank you so much for listening.